Hey, Joe, very excited to have you over here. So you know the CPQ hiring market probably like nobody else. So that's why I wanted to ask you some questions about it, right? So, and that's how does the current macroeconomic environment impact CPQ hiring?
I kind of think that it doesn't right now, or it doesn't very strongly. So whilst we're seeing all this terror, as we'll call it, in the market right now, and the layoffs, and the economy is on the slide apparently, which I don't believe. Um, the CPQ skill set is so niche that we haven't really seen any changes. We are still hiring quite rapidly for those kind of roles. And also a lot of the people in the market that I still speak to have have got in touch with me and said, do you know any good architects in the market or consultants? We're growing, we're hiring. And that's not just Salesforce, that's Oracle, CPQ, in Salesforce industries, pretty much anything. It's such a niche skill set that nothing's really changing. And on top of that as well, is no matter what the media says about the economy, there are still ginormous companies out there who are running all their orders on spreadsheets. This digitalization that's happening and has been happening, it's not going anywhere. It's not changing. And CPQ is going to become even more of a need than it is right now. So while some areas of the market may have cooled, CPQ definitely has not. And before we started this interview, I looked on LinkedIn jobs and I typed in CPQ roles just to see what's going on. There's thousands and thousands just in the US.
I think the that's the same thing that I see as well, right? So, but do you see any regional differences in hiring anyway, right? So I guess it's going to be pretty strong in North America and in Europe, but how about other regions?
So I don't really have as much to do in other regions. We had our Australia team that we acquired many years ago, and that the CPQ market there almost didn't exist. It was very, very small. But now almost everyone they hire is Salesforce CPQ or billing. So it's spreading across the globe. It's always been big in Germany and places like that, and like you say, North America, but even the UK. So regionally, it's America's always the number one. North America is always number one because just the demand's high. There's loads of business going on, and with Europe kind of just behind. But across the globe, it goes back to that first question, that digitalization of the world. It's happening, so those jobs are going to be there, be it in Alaska or the bottom of Argentina over there.
I mean,
Yeah.
and talking about hiring then, so what do you suggest as a hiring professional, right? What should people do to increase their chances of being hired?
I think digging into that niche specialism is one of the things that I would always advise. People have this counter view that you should be, good at everything, that you should be broad. Whereas whenever I've hired for CPQ, I've always wanted specialists in CPQ, not somebody who's done, Sales Cloud or Service Cloud, or even, say if it's Oracle CPQ and they've done ERPs and HCM software. I don't want that. I want real specialisms. Don't be afraid to really dig into that specialism. Say, I am a CPQ specialist. The difference between, if we're talking about the Salesforce ecosystem, that CPQ product is so different to the rest of their product suite that you can't really not afford to do that. So I would advise dig into that. My other advice on them all going to find the work, I love LinkedIn. I don't want to give them too much of an ego boost, but it's such a great tool. If you go on there, find out who's hiring. You could just put in the phrase CPQ consultant into jobs. See who's posted the job and send them a nice message. Don't need to send their resume. Just say, look, I'm in the market. Are you interested in having a chat? And that direct approach works better than a standard application.
And I think that's very good advice, right? So LinkedIn is really working well for a lot of job seekers as well as for the vendors and others too, right? So, but now in general, so we had the situation now two times in a row. First was the pandemic where there was some gloom and doom, right? Which didn't materialize. At least it was just a very short period of time. Now it was similar again. What do you expect from the CPQ market in general in the next 12 months?
I think it's going to just continue to be a hot topic. It has been for a number of years, and it's only going to go. And it's back to that first point. The world's not changing. We're not going to take steps back. We're going to move forward. And these companies that are using Excel spreadsheets for all the orders, they're going to be they're going to have to move on to CPQ. There's some huge projects out there. I also think that the media, social media, they love bad news. It's what sells. It's what's exciting. It's what that click-through rate will come when you say, doom and gloom, the world is ending. I'm not really particularly bothered by it at the minute. I think the market's, maybe a bit slower. Maybe people are being a little bit more sensible in the software decisions that they're taking, but it's still out there. And everyone I speak to in the market, other recruiters or other partners, they're still closing business.
Got it. And I think it's also what you're saying is you don't see a lot of hiring freezes and hiring stops in general. So it's still a thriving market, more or less.
It's still a thriving market, and in particular CPQ, the CPQ specialist partners for consulting, for example, are hiring a lot at the minute.